You're listening to TEIVOVO Digital, the podcast.
Bula vinaka and welcome. I'm Culden Kamea for TEIVOVO Digital, and today I've got an absolute honor to interview this great legend of rugby in Fiji, Britain and the Pacific and the world, in fact, Pio Bosco Tikoisuva, the emperor himself. And I mention that because his new book, which has just come out here in Fiji, called Emperor Bosco, is a fascinating read. I read it all in one afternoon, and it's amazing, and gave me some great insights for the interview today. So welcome, Bosco, and thank you very, very much. Bosco had a very illustrious career, played 19 tests for Fiji from 1968 through to 1979. He was only 21 years old when he debuted for Fiji against Tonga in the second test of a 3-test series. And for the first test, after the trials, they said they didn't pick him because he was too small. And yet his great-grandfather was one of the instrumental warrior chiefs for the Tui Kau when they fought off and beat Ma'afu's warriors, led by the great Tongan warlord Vainikolo at the Battle of Wairiki in 1864, I think it was, 1864. And to this day, those warriors from Rauriko village in near Undu Point, who were loyal to the Tui Kau and fought for him alongside many, many others, founded Ngeleni village in Tabiuni. Bit of history there for you guys all, and amazing, and to be in the presence of Pio Bosco Tikoisuva here today. So I read the book and really want to base my interview this afternoon with Bosco around the book. And to start off with Bosco, in your early years, you mentioned two key things that stood out: discipline and physical responsibility when you were a young boy growing up.
Yeah, that was the traditional Fijian lifestyle at that time. Whatever your father says, you do it. You have no response at all. No matter what it is, if your father tells you something, you have to do it.
Yes.
And at that time too, if you disobey your father, he'll give you the really whacking, which is a strong discipline life,
Yes.
on the thing. And that's that's when, and when you are small, you're doing all the physical work.
Yes.
The physical work, not easy. That's what I told the people. In 2007-06, I was back in the office for 2000 as manager of the Rugby World Cup Sevens. The development officers from my Faru came to me and said, "Boss," I said, what is the difference between the props during your time and the props now?" And I told them, the props during my time, all of us are brought up in the village. By 11 years old, we're doing our weightlifting with all of the bloody new and buka, and then you go the dalo and everything from the bush right up the plantation up in the bush. We're doing all our physical thing by when you're about 11 years old. By the time we come and play for Fiji, our muscles are really, all muscles are strong.
That's right.
Now these people, we have to go to the gym. Us, no. That's why our props are very strong at that time. Yeah, so that's a thing, and that's the village growing, and you grow up in the village. Nothing. You walk bare feet everywhere.
Yes.
Everything. And it's a really, everything is on physical thing, Yes. Long walk to the plantations and everything, carrying heavy loads and all. But that's part of the daily life when you're growing up. So by the time you grow up at about 20, your body was really well prepared.
Yes.
Well prepared. Yeah.
Thank you, Bosco. I remember very similarly Zinzan Brook, one of my idols as well, saying that he had a similar situation growing up on the farm in New Zealand and with all his brothers. You had 6 other brothers?
Yeah, I've got 6 other brothers and 2 sisters.
Yes, and you guys were just playing and competing and sharing all the work all the time. So there was a lot of competition all the time.
Yeah, and it's a discipline too. When you get up in the morning, you have to go and rake the fallen leaves, go and feed the pigs before you even go to school. That's all our daily thing, our daily job on the thing.
And I remember one of the interesting parts of the book which made me laugh was your uncle came to see your father, your namesake, and to request you to adopt you And as you say in the book, with the nod of his head, your father said yes.
Yeah.
No paperwork, no nothing.
Yeah, no paperwork, and that's because I was named after him.
Yes.
He was in Suva after he came back from Malaya. He went
Yes.
to the Malayan thing.
Yeah.
So his name is Pios. So when he was in Suva, I was born, my name was Tikoisuva. That's
Yes.
the name after him. So when he came home, he just came and asked my father if he can adopt me. So straight away, my father just said yes. Because he was, the relations are very close, very
Yes.
close relations.
Yeah.
So my father just said yes. So that's and our house was not very far apart.
Yes, yeah. So luckily it was only 200 meters away,
Yeah,
and
true.
that was good.
Yeah.
And your father, Ratu Samuela Matana, was a school teacher.
He was a school teacher, and he started our school in the village of Geleni. Not only started it, he built it himself. And he was a teacher also, so he started teaching there and thing.
Amazing. And I think what flowed from him, from what I can see in the book, read in the book rather, was that the value of education and the value of goal setting. I was amazed that he even told you later on in life, all of your children, all of your siblings, that no one is to leave school to attend his funeral should he pass. That was because he
so
valued your education so
during
much.
school holidays, every Sunday he'll call us for a meeting. And that's one of the things that he raised. He said, when I die, do not leave school. Don't disturb your school, stay in school. So when he died in 62, my first day in Lawadi, I was the only one who didn't go to his funeral, interviewed, because I was the only one away. My elder brother was in Corpus Christi, he just can fly back to Tavuni. The rest were in Weriki. So all of them attended the funeral. I was the only one who didn't attend his funeral.
Yeah.
And because at then too, in the Wadi it's not easy, traveling.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I told these people, you people are lucky now. Transportation is good. During my time in the Wadi, all of our new students, we come in February, we don't go back till December.
Yeah.
And we stay in the Wadi the whole year, man.
Yeah.
Whole year.
Even though it was just meant to be for school, you had to spend your holidays there.
Yeah, we
at the
stay
school.
there, we stay in school right through.
Yeah.
Right up to December, then we go back home. And at that time, he said, even to leave Taviuni to come to Ovalau, 1 week. Because we used to go on the boat that pick up copra.
Yes.
So plenty places they stop. So 1 week it'll take us from Taviuni to Ovalau. Life at that time, I told him, life at that time is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
I was also struck by your dad. Actually, you found out much later in life too that you weren't registered in the VKB, the Walanikauambula, in Geleni, but from Rauriko village up near Undu Point, which is can you explain the story behind that?
Yeah, when we were growing up, we just know that we're from Geleni.
Yes.
We never knew about our connections in Rauriko and Dongotuki, Maduata. So when he was dead, I thought that, so when he died, then I was surprised to see that he registered all of us in Maduat, in the Rauriko village in Dongotuki, Maduat. And then I find out, that, his father is from there, and they got the land and everything there, so he wanted us to be registered there. Then, so we went traditional, took our traditional was there to Rauriko village.
Yes.
So then after that we took our children's and nothing. So now I said we got 2 villages at the moment, one in Rauriko and one in Tavuni, in Geleni.
When you you left Tavuni as a young man after primary school, as a young child rather, after a young boy after primary school, then you went to the Wadi in Ovalau. And I just want to touch on that for a moment, because you mentioned particularly Father Wanga as being a big influence in your life as well. Can you tell us about
that's what
it?
I said, how Father Wanga used to coach us. He's our rugby coach.
Yes.
And the training program that he really imposed on us is very, very tough. And that's what I said, we're lucky that when they come to Fiji team, sometimes when there is a Fiji team announced, you see about 5 ex-Wadi boys will be in the team.
Yes.
All Father Wanga's. Because when he trained us, and in the Wadi, there's a hill up.
Yes.
And there's the sisters' quarters up there. So before we start our training on the ground, he'll get us to go up there 10 times before that's our running warm-up, before we come on the ground thing. And then every morning he will say, hey, I want to see you do your running in the morning before the church service at 6. So he'll be watching from his room up there. first class, he'll say, I say, where were you? I didn't see you running this morning. Oh, but he's very strict in our, but he's really, physically, he's really prepared as well.
Yes.
And in our rugby. Whoa. So we were lucky that we came.
You came across him in your life at a early
True.
time in your development,
Very true.
rugby development.
Very true.
It's amazing. And Bosco, it was a lot of people won't know because you are such a brilliant back, and a lot of people only know you as a fly half. But really, my first memory of you was on the wing here at Suva, St. John Marist, and for Suva, playing in the early 70s. Pio Bosco mesmerized the people because he was small in stature, but he had the side step, the goose step, all before Serevi's time, before David Campisi. This man was magical on the wing, and people would just be saying his name, Bosco, because no one could get him, you know, and no one could catch him. He was such a artful dodger, but you were very big, well-developed, very stocky, and it was funny to read that you were playing in the forwards all of your life in the school, right up to first 15, you were flanker. But before that, all the forwards.
The first time I ever went to backline, we played against Grammar, St. John's. And our center was Larry Rectalap.
Yes.
And he got injured. And straight away, Father Wanga pulled my ear from flanker to center. That's when I started my backline game.
But in the forwards, you enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it. Because at the time, it's not a position. It's my love for the game of rugby. I just enjoy playing. I don't care which position, as long as I play. That's my thing, the love of the game.
Yes.
Love of the game.
And you never got injured really in a bad way because you were very, very well built. You put it back to your early upbringing. Very strong.
Well, I've been telling you, I injured my left ankle when I was in Geleni Primary.
Yes.
We were playing soccer. And then we hit each other. We kicked the ball with one bigger guy than me. We missed the ball and we hit each other's leg. Straight away, they have to carry me from there to my father. My father called one elderly guy there to come and massage the thing. And that's when I said, every time I play the rugby, I have to strap my ankle.
Yes.
Strap my ankle every game. Just to be, that's the injury that I had when I was just about 6 years old.
And that was stayed with you right through your career,
right through my
ankle
career.
injury. Amazing.
Throughout my career. And then I was said, there's a few in Fiji Rugby, and I said a few other small injuries,
Yes.
Nose and everything,
Yes.
broken nose and all. But there again, I said it's
That's right. You broke your nose while playing for Fiji in England, I think it was, in a game in England. And you never got it checked, really?
When we played Wales,
Yes.
First 15 minutes, I broke it. My white jersey, the blood.
Yes.
I said, no, I'm not going to go out. I'm going to play right through. And I stayed the whole. Straight after that, we're going to travel right up to London again and then back to Fiji. So straight after the game, the Wales officials came, boss, we can't take you to the doctor because we had to go up. But as soon as you reach Fiji, go and see a doctor. I said, I never see a doctor until now. Even though with a broken nose, broken nose. I said, no. I said, that thing is, I told them, the mental toughness.
Yes.
Mental toughness is something you cannot just sit down and think about it. It has to be part of your training program, the mental toughness.
Amazing. You progressed through the Wadi, played first 15 rugby there, brilliant career in school, and then you left to join the Ministry of Forests as a forest officer.
Forest up in Nukuru Forest Station.
To Nukuruku. Someone was meant to. Can you tell us your first day going to work there?
Yeah, when I was there, because I said most of my boys in the world went to Corpus Christi.
Yes.
I cannot imagine myself standing up there talking to students in a classroom.
Yes.
So I applied for this forestry. So they told me come. So I came to Suva. And they told me, go to Nukuru Forest Station. So they tell me where it is, near Nemesmas. You'll go by bus, go and get off a junction there, go up there. One of the
forestry.
The vehicle will be waiting for you. Because it's about a long walk. Eh?
Yeah, yes.
When I went there, waited, nothing. Well, and at the time I had my mat, my bag, and then my oil thing.
Yes.
So 3. I have to walk about 2 miles, go and put 1 mile, put a set, come back and get the other one.
Next bag.
When I went up and reached up there, I went to the office. Boss there was sitting there. He was surprised to see me. I said, yeah. So I was like, "Hoi, you here? Yeah. Hoi, we were just about to come down and pick you." Bloody bugger. And I went there. And I said, at that time there, it's not easy. The forestry, we were planting mahogany.
Yes.
Wow. We go up there. We started about 8 in the morning, finish at 5. Straight up there, come back, put on my canvas and up on the road again.
Yes.
And then Friday after work, I come by bus to here, pray for St. John's Old Boys on Saturday, go back on Sunday. The whole season is like that. And I was lucky that December, before one of the Sundays, we went and had a few beers with government printing, Vincent Lobandan.
Right.
So he said, "Hey boss," I said, "What?" "We're looking for apprentice, senior Cambridge pass." "Hey, I passed my senior Cambridge." So apply. Straight out there, 1st December, I was apprentice here at government printing. Well, and it's good for me, it's easy.
I'm very happy to hear that, because for many years I've lived next to Vincent Lobandan in Lamy.
That's right.
What a great man he was too. Sadly, he's passed on, but I'm so happy that he helped you along in your career.
True.
To the printing service out of Ministry of Forests. That's good to hear, Bosco. And very early in your career, as I mentioned earlier, 1968 you played for Tonga, 1970 Tour of New Zealand, and 1970 some rugby league scout came from Australia looking to recruit this man. He was given instructions, sign Pio Bosco and bring him back to Sydney. And you managed to dodge the bullet.
I said, no, I'm so, because they don't want empty-handed to go back, they take George Bundy.
Yes. And he was quite a formidable player too. He was an inside centre.
Yes. We were playing together too. So they took him. I said, no, I'm not going to play rugby league.
I think he played for Balmain. He went on and played, he played a good level, top level Sydney club rugby league. And I just want to at this point mention the great, the big O, Olsen Filipina, just passed away. He also played for Balmain. Actually, George Bali might have played for St. George, but they were great island boys who left in the 70s to play rugby league in Australia. Money was just coming into that game there. And I want to relate this point that you make, because when they tried to recruit you, another club sent a letter, and you said, or they called you rather, and you said to please put your contract in writing so you could give it to your lawyer.
Yeah, because I said I'd been hearing stories of our boys who've been going there before that.
Yes.
That when they tell them this is how much you're gonna get, pay you. Yes. So when they go to Australia, they go and sign. When they sign their contract, they find that the money that they were told there is not the same as what's on the contract.
Yes.
So I said, no, that's why I wanted to get my contract first before I come. Yep. I'll give it to my lawyer, everything was said before. I don't want to go there and find out what you promised me here is not the same as what's in the contract. Yep. That's why I said no.
Yeah.
If they had done the right thing, I think I would have played the league.
And Bosco, it's a very pertinent point, because to this day, 50 years after that, our boys are still, not only Fiji, Samoa and Tonga, still being ripped off by untruthful agents and recruitment. It's very sad. So I just want to ask you one question. Do you think Fiji Rugby Union, Tonga Rugby Union, the Samoa Rugby Union can be doing more to try and help their young talent?
I think they can.
Contracts?
They can hit the top people up there.
Yeah.
So that make sure that everything is done there to come change their policies and all.
Yeah.
That you must have a contract with the player rather than just go and talk.
Yeah.
And then bring them all the way here for them to go and see the contract there. They can't come back.
Yes.
So they just have to sign it. Well, it's there already. So I think they can. They still. I think the national rugby group can work
and a more formal process.
They can
so that
hit the top people there too, and just for the safety and what's that for their people,
Yes.
for the young ones, the thing.
Okay, thank you.
Like that. That's like in Rugby Union when I was the CEO. I hit the International Rugby Board.
Yes.
like the Hong Kong Sevens.
Yes.
At that time, I wrote to them, tell me, you see now, what I've seen in the rugby Hong Kong is the referee. They think that the second-tier nation are stupid than the first-tier. What we did, they penalized. If they did the same, the tier 1 team, they did the same thing, they're not penalized.
Yes.
So if that's the way you're doing it, I'm going to pull them, the team out from Hong Kong. Straight away they said, no boss, please don't. So when I went in there, Hong Kong, they had set even a committee. After every game, referee come and report to the committee.
No, great.
So I hit at the very top people.
Bosco, I absolutely laughed when I read your report on that famous game against the British Barbarians in your 1970 tour.
72.
And we gave them a hiding, 29-9, because it was a
29-9.
sunny day.
Whoa,
Sunny day.
beautiful day.
And like Fiji.
And that's why I said, I heard afterwards that when they selected the team, the media people, they complained. They said they selected a very good team against Fiji. But when I said, when we thrash them, I think those people, I don't know what they're going to say, when we thrash them 29-9.
Yes. And Fiji scored 6 tries, of which 4 were by forwards.
By forwards, and that's why they said these forwards here are just running like a wing.
Yeah, that's amazing,
Well, it's amazing, man. Oh.
You know, all those guys were legends, Radhika, Chonangoro, Nasibi Robovo,
Good.
They love to run with the ball.
That's why I said we're playing the Flying Fijian.
Yes.
That's what I said, the Flying Fijian. That's why I said one of the reasons why we defeat the British Barbarians, the British Lions. I said, Flying Fijians, every team in the world, as soon as they know that they play against Fiji, the first they come to mind, Flying Fijian, and they lam off the Flying Fijian because they don't want to run.
Yes.
But now we're doing what they want to do. As soon as we hit, they love that. Yeah. They love it. They don't want to run that far away.
An open running game. Very structured and forward dominated.
That's right. That's right.
And you quoted, I love a line from your book, give a Fijian a yard and he'll take 100.
He'll take 100, yeah.
These guys really live that.
That's what they would say, because they know the Flying Fijian. They really love of the Flying Fijian.
Bosco, these great forwards, I was just trying to think back, and just in recent time, I can only think of Mesake Rasari, Semisi Naevo, big running forwards. We don't have them anymore. We don't make them anymore like those days of...
Because I said every time, at the time, all of us grew up in the village.
Yes,
running and everything,
Yes.
Bare feet. So that's why the bare feet thing. I told one, when Harlequins said, one of the officials there came to me and said, one thing I cannot forget about that, he was in the British Army and the Fiji and Malay, and they play rugby.
Yes.
Man, when we ran into the field, we ran with boots. When the Fiji team walked in, they ran in, no boots.
Right.
But they said, there's the bamboo or the post, the goal post.
Yes.
And I said, I kicked the ball. I kicked the ball towards the line. It was rolling on the line, and I ran in there to score, and one Fijian guy came on the other side and he kicked the ball. He missed the ball, he hit the post. And I said, man, he never even went down to massage his feet. He just turned around and ran back. When I looked like this, the ball here was cracking. So I told him, hey, during our time, when we grew up in the beach, not only that, there's a competition there. We put our feet like that, we light the match and see how many stick you can stick it under your wear. That's how thick. That's how thick.
Sole of your feet.
That's how thick the sole of our feet at the time.
So, Bosco, after I skipped to your time with the Harlequins. When I read the book and thought back of your whole career, I really do think that the people of Fiji were very unlucky in that I think you played your best rugby in the early 70s, 73 to 76, when you were with the Harlequins. Because as mentioned in, the title of the book is Emperor Bosco. That was actually from a poem that was penned.
One of the rugby
followers anonymously wrote a poem. I mean, I've been in rugby a long time, and not as long as Bosco, but nobody writes poems about rugby players. Nobody. But Bosco had a whole poem written, and they called him Emperor Bosco, the man from the Friendly Isles.
I said, I was surprised when I walked into changing room one evening. I saw it was pasted on the wall. Man.
Yes.
So I took it. Luckily, I took it and kept it.
That is amazing.
Yeah, man.
And I remember when we were at the Maris Club once, you told me the story, or you told a group of us boys who were there, that when you were playing at Harlequins, you know, every Saturday morning, a chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce would come with the owner inside in the back seat to pick Bosco up to take him to the game. They wanted to make sure he didn't get late to the game, so they'd come and pick you up.
They come and pick me up. Even after the training and was there, the people will come to drop me.
Yes,
the very rich people there, they come and drop me in the rich cars.
Yeah. See, Bosco is very humble, but I'm sure, you know, the value of the man was just so apparent at the Harlequins Club in the early 70s. This is before professionalism, so they just played for beer and, you know, whiskey and...
Nothing, no money, no nothing. And I said I was lucky because at that time, no email, no nothing.
Yes, yes.
And I think as I said, was the head commissioner.
Yes, yes.
So he heard that I was coming to study. And he's the one who probably told Harlequins to come straight away. They telegram Fiji Rugby Union inviting me to play. So I accepted.
Yes.
And straight after that, England came. We played against them. And all the other teams from Richmond was there. They heard that I was coming. They come and ask me. I said, oh, too late. I've accepted Harlequins. And lucky because Harlequins, my college is right beside their ground.
Yes, yes.
So I was very lucky.
Very well
lucky.
organized by Sir Joshua.
Yeah, true.
And Bosco, you, I just wanted to make the point that you played outside of Sir Clive Woodward, you know, the British Lions.
Sir Clive Woodward, yeah.
But in those days he was younger. He was the fly half. Yeah. How was he as a player?
Oh, he is good. He's a very, very good player. And, but at that time, the traditional game in England is halfback, face 5-8, kick, you know, those tactical kicks.
Yes.
And that's why I said when they moved me in there, the first time season there, we won the season, and they first saw Harlequins moving the ball. So the Harlequins fans asking the Harlequins players, hey, why is it Harlequins moving the ball? Said our face 5-8 doesn't know how to kick.
That was Bosco.
That was me.
Yeah.
And that's what I said.
Not that you didn't know.
Yeah. And
that
I
was
said,
your natural
those
game.
individual skills is your time to practice it. Because straight after that, we rang a toss with our fullback. He is small fella but can kick. So one time I kicked like this. I saw the ball spin. I said, shit, that's how you kicked it. So when I came back at Tamaris there, every day I was at Tamaris on my own, practicing it. Yes. That was 76.
Yes.
And 77, I was the best kicker in Fiji. I told them, that's why you have to give your time to those kind of individuals. Your coach will teach you how to do it. When doing it, that's your own time to go and do it. You can't do it during the team training times. You can't do it. That's the time to do it on your own.
Amazing.
Give the time to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Now, I'm just commenting, Bosco, that you had this very strong work ethic to coach, train yourself.
Yeah, train
longer
yourself.
And harder than others. Super fit.
Yeah, they said like straight after the British Lions defeat at the reception.
Yep.
Who is this? Barry Jones.
Barry Jones.
He was heading the supporters group.
Yes.
So he came to me and said, "Boss," I said, "What? Man, that was a beautiful drop goal. I had a drop goal."
Yes.
I had to ask him, "Do you know where I got it from?" He said, "When I left England, I bought your biography. There you saying, within the 25 meters, when you drop goal, get the ball, let the ball lift a little, kick it. The ball will ride straight up and then out. It will stop from any hands coming. But if you're doing any 40 meters, as soon as he hit the ground, kick it. The longer it goes, the higher it rises." He just shook his head and turned back. I said, "See, I come and practice that." I come and practice that.
And it really was very close. That was all the difference, 25-21.
Yeah.
And in Harlequins, your first coach was Earl Curtin.
Earl Curtin was our coach.
Not one of the greatest first fives, but a very, very shrewd thinking man.
Yeah, it's a New Zealander. He's a first five for All Blacks.
Yes.
All Blacks first five.
Yes.
And he's the one who pulled my ear from wing to first five.
Right.
He's the one.
Yeah. And he stood by you because your first 3 or 4 games were very shaky.
Yeah, but you know, he's there because it's my first time there, and you know, it took me a bit of while to really settle down.
Yes.
And
so when he brought you in, Clive Woodward had left Harlequins, and you took over.
Yeah, because he was coaching for us like 73, 74, 75. it's in my last season. Then I said
Moved
Clive went and go for further studies. That's when he pulled me to come and play first five on our final season, 75-76 season.
And you had no problem with that move from the wing in?
Well, I just told him that I was there, but he's the one that pulled, so I just obey him. I listened to what he said, come. So that's when I went in, got in there.
Amazing, amazing how he saw whatever he saw, the skill, the talent, the brains to move you in to such a critical position in a club like Harlequins in England. Eh? And I just want to mention that your big wing there, just grab his name, Colin Lambert.
Colin Lambert.
He scored 50 tries in that season.
Colin Lambert,
And he came to you and thanked you because it was a difference, eh? New first five and different style, spin the ball wide.
Yeah, spin it wide.
Amazing. Truly take my hat off to you, Bosco, because I think, we really, as I said, we really didn't see the best of you here in Fiji, but you must have been playing that for the Harlequins club. So looking back, Bosco, what is your favourite position of all? Out on the wing, fly half or flanker, and what do you like about or don't like about each of those positions? Because you played them. I never saw you play flanker, of course, in school, but on the wing, you were brilliant on the wing. You got picked for Fiji on the wing, and then fly half.
Yeah. Well, see, now fly half, you have to be really, I think it's the right time for me to, because I've played so many years and all that, and I somewhat understand a lot of situations in the game. Then there, because you're the decision maker. Decision maker at first five. And you have to call on that's what. In the halfback, I tell him I said, I'll call less or wrong. That means left or right. If I can less, that means you don't have to look at me. Just listen to what I'll call from the back. And those are the things, because I can see what the situation is at the front on the thing. And then I said, on the wing, wing, it's okay, but I'm not I told him, that's right, I never played the wing. I never ran 100 meters. But somehow, I was pulled up in the Fiji team to go and play on the wing, on the thing. But I think first 5-8, I quite enjoy the first 5-8. And as the decision maker, on the thing.
And tell us about this very strange person, John Temo of Andover. John Temo of Andover. That was the name you used to register in secret when you went to Andover.
Andover. Because Penny Toa was, I went and stayed with him. So when I went in there, I said, no, I don't want them to know that I was playing for Harlequins. So that's why I said my name is.
So you played a couple of seasons for them?
No, just one season. School holidays. School holidays. So that's when I go in there, I said, no, I don't tell them that I'm playing for Harlequins and all, man. It will be unfair for them to etc.
But you soon made the headlines in the local newspaper.
In the newspaper.
This John Temo was a very good player.
John Temo, Penny Temo.
Penny Temo. And so what was he doing there, Bosco?
He's working in a farm thing, farm there. Because he was in the British Army, so he finished and he went with his family in that farm. So just I was looking for someone. Where can I go for holiday during my holiday, man? So I go straight to him. I go to him.
That's awesome. And also, Bosco, you played twice for the British Barbarians. What an honor, eh?
I went to Barbarians, a lot of invitation teams that I go to. On the thing, man.
And just tell us about the honor of playing with the British Barbarians and the players that you played with. They were
I think on this team, it's nice to go and meet up with all the other players. All the other players that you hit each other on the field and all that. Then you go in there, you become one team. It's a really good time to meet up with all your friends, your rugby friends, and those invitation 15s.
And of course, your style of rugby absolutely suited the Barbarians.
Because they really want to play those kind of game, Barbarians and that thing. And they pick up all those top players, come into for the Barbarians game and the thing. And so they keep on pulling my ear.
Yeah. You know, Bosco, nowadays I hear that the Barbarians players get £10,000 just for
Wow.
playing. Eh?
Mm.
You wouldn't have seen that in your days, I don't think.
Not even 10 pence.
But all for the love of the game.
All for the love of the game. All for the love of the game.
Yeah.
No man.
And you struck up a special friendship with the Welsh centre, Ray Gravel.
Ray Gravel.
Yeah, he used to always call you Bosco baby on the field while you're playing.
That's why when even the British Barbarian, the British Lions here, the people still call him when inside the field.
Yes,
because
yes.
most of them are my friends.
Yeah, so they knew about you.
Yeah.
And when you came home, finally, you know, a lot of people don't appreciate that in those 3 years you were attending the printing course in London,
Yeah.
you went on your own. You left your wife Sanyana with
Yeah, because
back
when
in
I
Fiji.
said she was pregnant,
Yes.
and then FRU called me, boss, what? Final trial this Sunday. That we go and play one game in Swansea and one in Dublin. I said, no, you know very well that I'm going to study. I wait for my wife to get back first before I come. So I won't come for the trials. So I went and watched the trials at the now Bacchus Park.
Right, right.
When they're changing like this, they look up. I was going like that. No, I'm not going. I didn't bring any boots, nor nothing. So straight after that, back in Rewai, we were staying in Rewai. In the house, my wife's elder sister's husband, Bia, and on the radio to listen to the announcement.
Yes.
When the announcement came, the second name was mine. Man. Bloody shit, I didn't attend the trial. Man.
Yeah.
So they pulled me. So they were camping at USP. Told them, no, I'll be staying at home. I'll just come for training.
Yes.
Then we went. When we went there, when I was in England, then my first baby was born. My first child was born. I didn't. That's what I said. I didn't meet her until 3 years when I get off Nosuri Airport. That's the first time I met her.
And you say in the book, she in the taxi on the way home, she was probably thinking.
I told her wife, hey, see that boy, baby there? She'll be thinking, who's this gentleman here?
So, that was
She
amazing.
never saw me before.
Yeah, what a sacrifice.
Yeah,
and
it's a sacrifice. Man. Well, 3 years. Man.
Bosco,
I tell you, you know, that's really appreciate my wife. Yeah, was the 3 years. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Bosco, I know I don't do this justice because this is a rugby interview, but you had a great career too in the government and at FIT as the head of School of Printing, and then you became the vice principal of FIT under Sarawant Singh for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you became the director of youth and sport. When it was a ministry, you managed to get it up to be a ministry, standalone ministry.
Yeah, it was a ministry for education, youth and sport.
Yes.
And then when Rambuka was the prime minister, he was the prime minister.
Yes.
I told him. I said, look, I'm director of youth and sports. Youth is a very important thing.
Yes.
Now it was the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport. Now when I see there all the bloody rubbish from there, they throw it to us. It's a very important element for development in our country, is the youth, and it should have a special ministry. Straight away, ministry till today.
Yes, yeah, it was made a ministry. It's actually, it's made a government department again, but my question is, do you think the government should place more emphasis on youth and sport in this country?
Yeah, I think it's because see, babies, they become the future, like the youth.
Yes.
I think they really have to get onto the youth and go out. Because when I was director of Fiji Sports, it took us about 13 months. We toured the whole of Fiji, in the Tikina district, not just the Asan, every district.
Yes.
And then we telling the parents and the people there how they should look at the youth and telling the youth what their duties are in the development in their own communities.
Yes.
So that's why we went right around Fiji and Rutuma on the thing. So they really have to do that, go in and encourage our youth what they should be doing on their communities and all that, and what they should be doing on the thing.
Yep. And then in 1976, you were instrumental with George Reed and others in the Marist Club to start the Marist Sevens, the St. John Marist Sevens in those days. when the main prize was just a carton of beer, 10 cartons of beer.
Cartons of beer.
And now it's very, very big sponsorship supported by Foster's, of course, Paradise Beverages now, and up to $50,000. The biggest tournament, one of the oldest, it was the biggest in the world.
Biggest in the world.
And one of the oldest, longest running since 1976. Great pride. And you suggested it because it was something you did in England. You played the sevens.
I'm playing sevens in England for the Harlequins team.
Yes.
And then I said I was on the wing. When I played sevens, I was the hooker.
Yes,
the sevens,
yes.
hooker. And they'll be surprised when see the hooker scoring 3-4 tries a game.
Yes.
So when we came back there, and I said, one evening we were drinking grog at the club. George Reed said, "Boss," I said, what you going to do now? Because September thing finished, April next year then we start. What are you going to do during this time? What can you do? I said, let's start the sevens. So we started just a club, just have a few what's in the club. That's when Culden Brewery sponsored 5 cartons a beer. Right. And then next year, Lovable, QBS, all this come in, they started to come in. That's when all the teams come in on the thing. So that's why I said that's because how we were doing the St. John Murray Sevens. Wow, it was really good, man.
Yes.
Really good.
It's amazing because it was a well-established game in England, in Britain, but not played here at all.
No,
and then amazing how now we're the world champions, thanks to really the start of it all with you guys. And I just want to touch on 1978, they named you the coach of the Fiji Sevens team to Hong Kong. And you stood your ground against selectors who didn't want to pick this man, but you changed his life. Kata Ratumuri. Can you tell us about Kata?
Well, see, I was the guy printing. They called me FRU. Boss, can you be a coach to Hong Kong Seven? I said, I don't want to be a coach only. I wasn't the one to be a selected. So they said, boss, but they are selectors already. It's like that. Find another one. I don't want to coach. Straight away, half an hour later, they called me. Boss, you are selected too. So, okay. So the Albert Park, we had the final trial at Albert Park. We go to Union Club for the announcement. I knew when we got the selector, he said, boss, Kata. He said, hey, boss, you know Kata's he's in Nambo. He's a very dangerous guy.
Street fighter.
Said, I don't care. What I'm caring about, someone will get me the ball on the line out. Yes. That's what I care about. That's why I want him. I knew that he'll never even realize that then his name will be announced. So I went and one side from the door, and when his name was announced, he was jumping. And then that Sunday, even the family in Nambu invited me for lunch.
Amazing, they're so proud of him,
but as I said, at the time, no job. Straight after that, 1979, he got a job, security at the Nandi airport. And then the only problem is, whenever I go overseas, when I come, as soon as I walk out, he'll be the first man waiting for me for the duty-free bottle.
You changed his life, Bosco.
I changed his life. Changed his life.
I remember him too. Kata was a lovable rogue. He had a good heart, but he always seemed to get into trouble because of his size. And I remember he played goalkeeper for Flagstaff in Suva Club Soccer. And half the time he'd come to play half cut.
True.
And when the high ball came, he didn't catch it. He just punched it. And a lot of times he punched the strikers too. And they used to be so scared. But Kata was one very good sportsman. He drank, smoked, but he could run. I think that was a revelation to the people of Fiji. He's the first of the really big forwards that I can remember in sevens, running with the ball in one hand. Bosco, the 1977 British Lions was your most famous victory for Fiji. In reading your book, I could see how everything in your life apexed to that time, like it was meant to be. Your natural strength and fitness, upbringing, your education and smarts, rugby smarts, and just being a very smart man in life in terms of your discipline and your education and your work. Your achievements, high achievements in life, in work, and the move from wing to fly half. I put it to you that not many men, rugby players, could do that in our lifetime. and 3 years playing for the Harlequins. So you came back to Fiji, and the British Lions came in 1977, and you were the man for the moment. Inoke Tambulevu was the coach.
He was a coach.
But he let you coach the backs.
Yeah, he pulled my head to also coach the back line.
Yes. And I think one of the keys, two things that stood out for me in the book was mental preparation. The 1977 British Lions and the 2007 Flying Fijians team to the Rugby World Cup in France. Right from the camp here down the Coral Coast at Crow's Nest. You
Crow's
wrote
Nest.
there,
Yeah,
the boys,
everything.
we're going to make the quarterfinal.
Yeah,
That was your
that's
goal.
it. Because that's the goal, and I have all of them. I prepared a daily program,
Daily
and
sheet.
everyone has the
Yes.
daily program.
Yes.
They read that, and that's one of the goals in there to reach the quarterfinal.
I saw it, I remember you showing it to me, and almost in disbelief, like quarterfinal, Rugby World Cup, right from day one when you handed out to the boys,
true.
and
True.
the mental preparation you talked about. And you did that with the British Lions too. You told the men, I've played with these guys
Yeah.
in England.
Yeah,
You're
and-
better than them.
And I told
Gave them-
them, look, come here. You know, you just know that I came back from you. Every time I go and play, Harlequins will play. After that, we come and drink. Some of the players will come to me and say, boss, I said, what? I played against you people. That's when we toured 1970, 73. I said, so what? You know, when we play against Fiji, I said, what? When there's a loose ball and there's a rack or maul, and then we come running in and we tuck our head. Soon as we tuck our head and Fiji wins the ball, you know the first thing come to our mind? I said, what? Where the hell is this ball going to be? Said, this is what, the whole 80 minutes you're going to pressure them. Where the hell is this ball going to be on the British line? See?
Yeah.
That's what I said. After the game, straight away, the coach came to me, boss, we played with 15 horses.
Amazing.
Because we just have to keep on the ball running.
Yes.
On the ball
yes.
running.
I remember it, Bosco. I was still in school, and the British Lions had finished their tour of New Zealand.
Yeah, yes,
So we
yes.
absolutely worshipped them.
Yeah.
They lost the series to the
Yeah,
All Blacks, but
yeah.
they won every provincial
True,
game
true.
except
Yeah,
one, I
true.
think. I can't remember
Yeah.
which one, but they were a very strong team.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
strong
yeah.
in the forwards. My idol was Andy Irvin at the fullback.
Yeah, yeah.
Phil Bennett was the fly
Yeah,
half and
that's right,
captain.
that's right.
Amazing team. And you beat them here
Yeah,
in
true.
Buckers Park in
Yeah.
1977.
Yeah. They probably very surprised too that we can beat them.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah.
And Bosco, it's been a real honor. Thank
Yeah,
you very
yes,
much for interviewing you
no
today.
value.
And this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. The book, Emperor Bosco, it's all about his life and everything about rugby. Amazing read, and especially I was very lucky to have played alongside outside Pio Bosco for the St. John Morris Club here in Suva in the 1981, I think it was, 82. Bosco retired in 85, so it was amazing. He was just like playing outside a legend. I was very privileged to have done that. And his book is on sale now all over Fiji for $49.95. You can buy it at Culden service station. Old Billy Singh up there, and I'm sure he'll give you a discount
And me too.
for $49.95. And Bosco's selling them
Me
himself
too.
as well.
Yeah.
So I encourage you. One of the best sports books I've read in my lifetime. So I'm going to ask Bosco to sign it for me now. Vinaka, thank you.
Vinaka, no value.
TEIVOVO Digital.